What's up, guys? We're going to go over these patch notes here. There's not a whole lot, so I'll probably do a short gameplay video as well today, probably a little bit later on. But I figured we'll go over these. I'll talk about the balance a little bit. I had the chance to play a couple of hours tonight, so I know a little bit of how the balance changes went through. So there's some PC only stuff. I think it's mostly just bug fixes. I think the big thing here is trappers cannot escape their dome and leave the monster inside anymore. So that's good for the dome dodging thing, right? The only thing I'm a little worried about is sometimes you'll get hit with a rock throw or something, and it'll launch you outside of the dome, even when you're not even intending to do that. It's happened to me like 3 times since I've started playing the game when it released, so it's not that big of a deal, but it does happen once in a while. And for that to happen in like a professional game or something, I think that would be pretty bad. But maybe there's some coding to stop that. I don't really know. Most likely, it's just if they're outside of the dome, it'll come down quickly. Hopefully, if you step back in, it'll revert back to the normal time or something. I think that could be okay. But I believe it's like 10 seconds. It'll come down when the trapper's not inside of the dome. I don't think there's anything else. The Goliath rock throw plus leap smash combo's gone, or they say it is. You only seen that once in a while because it was pretty difficult to do, but there was some people that could do it pretty consistently. I think that's basically it here. I'm not going to go over nest and defend mode, because who really plays those? Alright, so we have balance changes now for all platforms. Goliath traversal takes 2 seconds longer to fully recharge when in combat. So basically they said that they wanted to kind of stop dome running, but it's still possible. It's still fully possible. I played against the Goliath at dome run today, and I didn't take jetpack recharge on Torvald, and I still couldn't keep up with him. So I still think jetpack recharge is pretty good on assaults, especially if it's a running monster. Kraken Lightning Strike travels 1.5 meters slower per second. I played against a couple of Krakens. They seem to still hit Lightning Strikes decently well, so I don't think this is a huge change. I mean, I think it's a step in the right direction. I do think that Kraken was the strongest of the 4 monsters, so toning him down just ever so slightly every patch or something might be a good idea, because this isn't really that big of a change. Makes it a little harder to hit Lightning Strike, but I mean, Kraken can win without Lightning Strike as well. But I do think that Lightning Strike is the better build now. I was using Aftershock for a while. I think Aftershock's a good pub smashing build, but against a good team, they can get out of it and punish you for using Aftershock, especially with Torvald and Crow. Makes Aftershock builds a lot more difficult. So they actually buffed up Traversal on Wraith and made it 2 seconds faster when in combat. So when in combat, the Wraith will be moving a little bit more quickly. I think this is okay. She did seem a little bit slow, especially when she was getting like Chain Griffin harpooned or something like that. So when in combat, that'll definitely help out. So they finally did some stuff for Behemoth, which made him better, but at the same time, I don't think he's quite good enough to still be like a competitive monster. Like I still think he is the worst of the 4. So they reduced the size dramatically on the weak spot. I've still noticed that he's still taking quite a bit of damage, even though they reduced this. So I mean, it's just the fact that he absorbs so many projectiles, right? I don't think that's really going to change with the weak spot. So they kind of either have to buff his health or make more of his body take reduced damage or something different. I don't know. Melee stamina takes longer to recharge. Heavy hit when not constantly melee attacking. So basically, you can't do the traversal into heavy over and over and over again. That was kind of like an exploit that you could just do it as quickly as you could hit the spacebar and mouse button. You could just wreck someone in a matter of seconds. That actually is a nerf to him, but they made quite a few buffs as well. Like I said, I don't think he's competitive yet, though. I think he's still going to need more within the next coming patches. I think he's still going to be under 50% win rate. He definitely can get wins. I need to play with him a little bit more. I played only 1 game with him because I was playing mostly Hunter, and I did win the game. So, I mean, it could be that I just was playing against bad behemoths, but it still seems like he's taking a lot of damage. They added the 1 second delay before traversal stamina begins to recharge after using, after entering the ball, and then entering the ball takes 5% more stamina. Not the biggest deal in the world. Again, another thing to combat the spamming of roll into heavy attack. Roll reduced the Hunter knockback. I don't actually think this is that big of a change. I don't think they even had to put this in. I don't understand really why they did. It might be that you can constantly roll over people because they don't get knocked back far enough now, I don't know. But they also reduce their roll damage. Again, I don't really know if I like this change. I think the roll damage was fine. I think it was mostly the heavy attack out of the roll that was the problem. Roll speed is slowed less by stasis effect. It's still slowed enough where you can keep up with them, but it's a lot harder to do. Me and Hijinks were doing a little bit, and hopefully I have a couple games recorded that I'll show. Maybe I'll try to find a Crow game or a Sunny game. I think I played mostly Sunny, and he was playing Crow when we were doing it. So maybe I'll get a Sunny game where I show that you can still keep up with a behemoth that's rolling away. But it's only going to be doable with a Sunny on your team. And I think the game that we did have it, we had a Val and Crow. So when Crow stasis wore off, we'd get a Val Trank and stuff like that. So it worked out pretty well. So armor, they increased the max armor by 2 bars. That's a good thing. I didn't really notice it when I was playing or when I was playing against it, but it's a step in the right direction. I think armor is what he's really going to need, especially this right here where armor regen is increased and you get 25% more armor earned per meat. Because as you're increasing more and more armor, it won't really scale that well because you're going to have to eat so much of the food on the map to even get full armor that it's not even really going to be worth it. You'll be able to take one fight per stage and then you'll have to run and evolve after that. So hopefully they'll keep on with this path. I think this is either this or damage reduction on like certain parts of his body, like the back, shoulder plates and stuff like that could take reduced damage or something, which might help. Because they already have that code into the game, right? They take less damage from limbs than the normal body hits, and then they take more damage from weak spots. So definitely a route that they could go. Health at stage 2 increased by 5%, health at stage 3 increased by 8%. Good changes all around there. Not too big of a change though. I think it's going to be like, 1 bar and maybe 2 bars or something. It's not that huge. With the amount of damage he takes, I don't think it's going to make or break Behemoth in that. These are some good changes though. Mainly the rock wall being initiated 46% sooner. Obviously they're trying to reduce the bugs in it, but I think you're going to have a coding patch to get most of that out. Although it did seem a little bit better, there's still some bugs with it. The level 1 wall width is increased by 50%. I'm actually unsure of how this is. Is it like the width or the length? I'm guessing, they say it's the width, but I don't know if they mean like how wide long ways it is, right? Or if it's like the fatness of it. I'm not sure exactly what that means, so I'll have to play around with it and see. Fissure can now be aimed until the fissure effect is triggered. I actually think this is the biggest buff that he has all around. Yeah, I mean maybe the weak spot, but this is pretty huge. Being able to aim this kind of like rock throw makes it a lot easier to aim this shot. I wish that they did this with lava bomb, but I think I know why. Is because the area of effect where it's like first initial hit is so large that it would make it really easy to land that. But I definitely like this because fissure is my main ability anyway. They also increased the successful like tongue grabbing. I don't really know what that means by increased start radius and decreased end radius. I don't know if that's like, I'm guessing the tongue is fatter as it starts off coming out and then gets smaller and smaller, like the projectile. It's more like a cone rather than just a straight like hitbox that's flying at you, right? They also made it pause less, so you remember before when you successfully tongue grabbed, it would like stay in the air for a while, and it increased the pullback animation as well, so that's good. So that's all the stuff on Behemoth. There's definitely a lot of changes here, mostly buffs, but they did remove the heavy attack exploit, which obviously should be removed. But I don't know if it's quite enough. I'll have to play around with it a little bit. I'll definitely do a few more Behemoth games just to test it out. We'll see how it goes. I'll play at least 5 to 10 more just to get an overall judgment on how I feel he is. Yeah, I wasn't really spamming heavy attacks anyway, so this is going to be overall a buff. So I should be able to get a few more wins out of it. Maybe he'll be decent, but I don't know. To me, it seems like there's not as much outplay potential as there is with the other monsters. You can dodge things a little bit better with the other monsters, and it's really hard with him. I think if you could get the rock wall up a little bit quicker, you could do things like block Torvald's mortar shots with rock wall and stuff like that. I think that would be pretty neat. Alright, so Hyde's toxic grenades proximity detonation has been increased from 5 to 8 meters to help against Kraken, basically. And also Wraith a little bit. It's a good change. Not too big of a deal though, it's only 3 meters. Torvald's auto shotgun and mortar cannon were both reduced damage by 10%, and then his reload was increased by 0.25. I mean, that's almost nothing, right? It's a quarter of a second. That's hardly anything. I played a bunch of Torvald last night. He still seems like he's kicking out quite a bit of damage, so I think he's still in a good spot, and I think he might even still need nerfs. I don't really want to say that because he's my favorite character probably right now. Definitely my favorite assault. I like how active he is switching back and forth between weapons. I haven't really noticed that I like use all my mortar cannon shots and I switch back and my shotgun isn't reloaded yet, so I still think it's going to be just the same where you use all your shells and then you go to mortar cannon or your grenade and just keep switching back and forth. Abe's tracking dart pistol zeroed out the rotation spread modifier when zoomed in. So basically when you're zoomed in on Abe's tracking dart, it's going to be the exact point where your cursor is going to be where that dart goes. It doesn't spread until, I'm guessing, after you shoot. Although it might even be that you don't have it zeroed out at all. I want to test this because I'm not sure exactly what this means. And then Vale's Trank Dart, same basic thing, except it doesn't have it when it's zoomed in. It's just zeroed out the base rotation spread modifier. So I'm guessing the same thing, Vale's Trank, even when you're hip firing, will have 0 spread on it, which is really good for actually hitting. You know, if you have your mouse over it, you're going to hit 100% of the time, which is really good. Slim, his leech gun damage was reduced by 30%. And then again, the same thing that happened to hide toxic grenades happened to his cloud launcher, where the proximity detonation radius was increased. I don't know. Slim had a 60% win rate, supposedly. I have a feeling that that's more against Behemoth than the other monsters. Specifically, I think Slim is pretty bad against Kraken and against Wraith because it's a little harder to hit with your leech gun, especially against Wraith. And Krakens who fly back and forth and actually actively dodge. So, I don't know. I think that Slim is going to be a very matchup to matchup basis on if you're going to pick Slim or not, right? He's still new. I'm still going to play him. People are still going to play him, but I don't know if... I'm definitely thinking that Kyra has taken back the place of a first tier medic. I don't think she ever lost it, but he was up there right around where Kyra was. Slim already has a problem where he can't keep up with like stage 2 and stage 3 monsters. Kyra doesn't have that problem. It's basically the same problem as Vale. The only difference is Vale against, like, I don't know. Slim is AoE, Vale's single target. It's 2 different medics. Vale has a little bit more anti-peel for herself and a little bit better at like chasing down the monster with tranks. Slim has decent anti-peel with Spore Cloud, but if the monster focuses really well or uses something like Banshee Mines, you can kind of hone in on the target that you're looking for by throwing out a Banshee Mine and waiting for it to start going to a specific area, and then that's where the hunter has ran to, and you can kind of get out and still be focused on the same hunter. So there's different little tricks that you can do to try to stay focused on the same hunter and get out of the cloud. But they're both Vale and Slim. I think are like it's Kyra, and then like way down here is Vale and Slim. Maybe Slim slightly ahead of Vale, maybe because the damage was reduced so much. I don't know. And then I think Lazzy is pretty far down. I'm not a fan of Lazzy except for against Behemoth. Although I have to say that Sunny definitely helps out Vale with her booster. You can definitely get Vale out or get Lazzy out of bad spots and help him. Like you can kind of throw him towards your teammate, get him res, and then throw him back out with your booster. It's pretty good. Bucket finally. This is actually the buff that I was waiting for to see if Bucket could be a little bit more useful. I know there's some of my viewers that really like Bucket and that think he's good already. So you guys are going to be super happy to see this change. I will play a few more games on Bucket with this and see if I can make him work, because I have not been able to make him work that well without this buff. But this is the exact buff that I was talking about him needing, because he's really bad against Kraken in my opinion, when Kraken's flying pretty far up. So I think this is good. It makes a bigger zone that you can use your sentry guns in. I actually did play a game of Bucket last night, and we did win it, so I'm not sure if I recorded it or not, but if I did, that will definitely get uploaded at some point. And And then Sunny's mini nuke grenade launcher. I actually don't play Sunny as a DPS support anyway. I think primarily she needs to be used as like anti like peel for your team, right? Like using your shield and your jetpack booster to get people out of bad situations. And then if you can, same as Hank, you switch back over to your mini nuke and you do some damage. And I think that's probably where Totorock is trying to take it as well. So that's basically it. That's the entirety of the patch notes. I guess it was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but we're just gonna. Well, I'll still upload like a 5-minute gameplay video a little bit later today. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.